Appreciate you joining this session. Very excited here in just a second to introduce Will Holmes. He will be speaking this morning on KYTC's interactive maps, getting the most out of the tools at your fingertips. I've had the pleasure of working with Will off and on over my career. Like I said, Will is somebody who's been a go-to for me, especially the last few years when I was in central office, when I was with KYTC. And I was telling him and the tech person here at the beginning that I'm glad that I'm moderating this session, because if there's any technical difficulties in here, I know we have staff, but Patty is not going to be able to help at all. So I don't have to worry about it. Will can take care of it. But like I said, Will will be presenting today. Will's bio is just as unique as he is. It's amazing. I had to read through it a few times, but like I said, it's great. His goal is to make a difference in the world by giving people the right information to make decisions at the point of need. And like I said, I am a testament to that. He's an aspiring spatial futurist with 25 plus years of GIS experience. He wants to solve today's problems using location and also anticipate and position solutions for the future. His focus is on building collaborative solutions across organizational boundaries, as well as blending LRS and other spatially referenced information to address everything from COVID and emergency response to mind mapping, standard development, specific transportation, environmental and economic development projects. He's very active in the state and national GIS technological efforts, where he's been a part of teams that have won 5 international and several state awards for GIS and big data innovation. So I'm going to turn it over to Will, and then if you don't mind, hold your questions till the end, and we'll field questions from you and those that are joining us virtually. Will.
Morning, y'all. So one of the challenges we're going to have is this is a relatively small screen, and the folks in the back, y'all are way in the back, but I intentionally embedded guidance in the PowerPoint so you can download that later and look at it. What we want to do is walk through the interactive maps that we have out on our webpage. Let me hop over to the presentation there for a second and put on my glasses so I can actually read. So again, our goal in building these interactive maps that are available to you is for you to get what you need of the cabinet's information, but then also drill in and make it useful to whatever decision you're trying to make at that moment in time. So back in 2018, we gave a presentation on.
Let me interrupt you.
Sure. We're not presenting. Oops.
That's all right.
Good now?
Yep. Thank you.
All right. So for those virtually joining, welcome. So in 2018, we came here, my team, Emily Barty and I came, and we presented on what we were calling, or what we would call, the state highway engineer template. The goal of that was to, again, put information at your fingertips using desktop GIS. And there was a lot of interest in that, but one of the things that people said is, I want to do that in the web. Okay, so we went back, we had some changes in programmers, but we now have a really good, capable programmer, and he took that challenge on. And while we didn't build out everything that you can do on your desktop, we've tried to make it more things useful to you when you're using the interactive maps. So one of the things we've also discovered is that apparently a lot of what we do, we're trying to keep secret. Even though we put it out there, there are just so many buttons and tools, sometimes it's hard to find. And so the goal of this is to just get you comfortable with what's out there and available, and then make sure that you have the opportunity to use it. Interesting. There we go. Okay. So again, the benefits of the interactive map, it lets you navigate wherever is important to you in Kentucky, and then see and get information that's relevant to that location. You can add your own data. You can customize the map. share it with others. One of the benefits of this, well, you can go to Google, you can do things with Google. Well, Google does not have the state's latest road network. They have what they currently understand, but they're managing a global environment. It also doesn't have KYTC specific information. Our average daily traffic counts, curves, whatever else. We also are getting up-to-date aerial photography. Next year, we will have about half of the state in 3-inch pixel. So that means, half the size of an index card is going to be the size of the footprint on the ground that you'll be able to see. So we're getting more and more detail, not only ortho, which is top down, but also oblique. So you'll be able to see the sides of buildings and other things like that. And so again, all of this we're putting into all of our interactive maps so that you can make it useful to you, how you want to use it. So again, here's the maps and resource page. If you just go to the transportation cabinet and go to maps and resources, you can go in there. And we have a variety of focus maps, everything from your road characteristics, different ones that are important, are focused on specific themes, to projects like I'm sure all of you know about 6-year plan, but also project archives. A lot of people use that, and quality assurance, to bridge focus data, depending on what you're wanting to do, to surveys. Surveyors are using forest stations, of course, outdoor advertising, environmental concerns, and multimodal. So now I want to hop over into the actual interactive map. And what I've done is I've just pulled up the statewide general highway map. And so if I'm looking at that, on the left-hand side is where most of your navigation, your how do I get to. Now, anybody that's used Google Maps or modern map browsers, you understand the wheel roll in and out. 15 years ago, that was pretty hard to do. So we had to teach about that. There are also plus and minus buttons you can zoom in and out with. And of course, if you get in someplace and you're just don't know what to do, just click your home button and you'll go back to scale.
They're not displayed off screen.
Oh, whoops.
It is online, but it's not.
Okay, let's go back and share. Thank you for catching me because I was on a roll.
You may need a drag and drop, but you can see part of it.
Well, that's the yeah, no. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, let me come over here. Check that. And now you can't see it. Lovely. All going according to plan. Maybe it's on screen. Oops. I think you gave me the clue. The only problem is I've got this. Yeah, there we go. But at the moment, oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's what I gotta do. It's 2 screens. Where'd you go? That wasn't one I wanted you to do. This is going to be interesting, folks. We're going to figure it out. There we go. Of course, I can't see it. Well, we'll get it one way or another. Sorry, I'm sorry to be antisocial and semi-turn my back on you. Okay, so if I can get my mouse over here. This is more interesting than usual. Hang on. There. All right. So if you zoom into some place where you can't get where you're wanting to go, you can always just go back to home and they'll get you back. This little crosshair is if you're on an iPad or something like that and you're out in the field connected, you can click on that and it will automatically locate you to where you are. So these are just basic navigation tools. If you zoom in and you want to zoom back out, that's your back button. It'll take you back out. So if you're used to navigating, you can always type in a specific location or address. You know, it works like Google. If you want a county or whatever, just type it in. Now, I won't demonstrate that because that's pretty straightforward. If you're a transportation geek like us, then you may want to drill into a particular road so that you can go to, and this again will filter to whatever county and area you're interested in. You choose the road, and if you only wanted to see from let's say to the end of the road, you can make that change and it'll dynamically adjust to that. Okay, so those are all basic navigation parts of it. If you were interested in looking at this particular section of road and you're wanting to know details about the road information itself, if I click this road info symbol and I click on that section of road, it's going to pull back the mile point, elevation, government level, posted speed, ADT, etc. Okay, all of that HIS data is current. We refresh out of HIS on Sunday morning, the Saturday nights through Sunday morning. So by Monday morning, you have the latest and greatest that's available to you. Okay, so as the roads change, as we build and improve the roads, this gets updated for you. Okay, and it's available. All of these tools are available in any of the interactive maps that we have available on our website. So even though I'm showing you in the general highway map, if you go into the bridge viewer or, you know, bike routes or whatever, these tools are available to you. If you're wanting to know what the different symbols mean, the tooltip will tell you it's a legend. Click on that. And again, it's going to give you the details of what all you're seeing in that particular view in this area. If you don't know what something is and you want to know about it, these two about tools will help you. The second one is for photo log because that's a specific view of the data that is different. I'll show you that in a minute. But the general one is the first one. I won't click on it because it takes a little bit to load, but that's your help menu there that you can always get to, and it explains the different tools. So again, you've got the legends, and then you can turn layers off and on if there was something specific that you wanted to turn off, which we'll do in a minute when we get to other data. If you wanted to see aerial photography, these 4 squares here lets you choose your base map, and then you can go get aerial photography. 2020 is right here, so I just randomly picked an area. So now you can look at that. But you can also go back in time and look at, say, 2006 data. And in certain places, you'll discover, oh, they put in a new factory here, or they added something else. So looking at these different images can be relevant depending on the problem that you're trying to address. You can do time series analysis with it. Also, if you're just wanting a basic map, we've got several different flavors that you can get to. The normal transportation one, Division of Geographic Information does one, and there's their version of the street map. All of those things are available to you depending on what you're trying to do and what background helps you accomplish that goal. Okay. There are measuring tools, so you can measure area, length, distance. Again, you can set that to miles or feet depending on the scale you're on as to which one you wanted to do. If you're trying to measure from this intersection to the next intersection, or then you can get there, you know, just basic information that we're trying to make available. If you wanted to draw something, you can. If you're wanting to highlight that particular end of the road, you click on the base of it and push the arrow to the direction you want it. You can then, if you wanted to put text on the map. except I'm standing away from it. Just over here. What am I doing now? All right. Bless my heart. And then you just click and it'll place the label there. So, again, trying to do this upside down and backwards has been a little bit interesting, not the way I practiced it. But you get the idea. You can put some basic information in your map. You can then hit print and it will prompt you. You can put in the map title. You can change size, PDF. You could go in and add some additional details if you wanted to, including copyright, etc. When you hit print, it will generate a PDF that then you can take with you. I will admit it is not perfect, but it's a functional map that then you can use for certain purposes. The thing to be careful about is if you add a ton of layers in, then you're going to have problems with the legend expanding beyond the little footprint that's available to it. Again, we're trying to give you some basic functionality for you to be able to do your job. Most people, what they do is they'll just screen capture the area that they're interested in and throw it into a Word document or whatever other supporting document that they're wanting to use it in.
You set the scale, you kind of went through that pretty quick.
Yeah.
Make the scale or not.
Yeah, under advanced, you can force a scale. So if you wanted to be explicit to it, you can. Again, this is for general mapping purposes, not survey quality. So just, you know, we're trying to add functionality that serves a lot of purposes, but I will admit that for all the permutations that we're given, we're trying to accomplish at least 80%. We can't serve every need possible. That's where dedicated mapping software, desktop software comes in. So the next thing I was going to talk about is data. There is a insane amount of data that's at your fingertips. So first off, just going through web search, it automatically pulls in for a map, and then you can add things from literally all over the world. Again, I just randomly zoomed into a location, but you can get weather data. You can get all kinds of details in there. If you search for KYTC, you can get to traffic counts, or I was looking at curves earlier. So now if I zoom out, I may be able to find a curve that's not so great. So again, you can put this anywhere in the state. You can get to the curve data or traffic counts or whatever else is important to you. Okay. You can also add your own data. So if I go over here to File and I choose Browse, oops. So in this case, I'm going to choose elk access points. And then if I zoom out, lo and behold, there are all the elk locations. And if I click on one of those, then I find out it's Thunder Ridge. I just pulled down a KML from out. It will also take a variety of other things, including that's a CSV. So like I pulled down a CSV, and this is called the GeoJSON, where if I pull that in for Bell County. So all those little dots. That's from a local file. It has details that you can see. So again, you can incorporate your own data in pretty easily. So between files and then the search services, you should be able to get a variety of information, but then you customize your own map to what's important to you. So then something else that we have is called dual maps. This will allow you to click on a location that you're interested in, and that hands off so that now you can go look at what Google says, what Google has about it nearby. So you can see and understand that. Again, it's just a handoff, because a lot of times you're looking at multiple different sources and you can't always fit everything in this one interactive map. So we're trying to make it easy and convenient for people to get to the information that they're interested in, and then shape the map as much as I can to get to where they need to make a decision. And then there is a reverse locator map or reverse locator tool. So again, if you're in on a particular place and you're trying to describe it to somebody, and they're used to talking by street address, not by mile point, you can click on that location and it will come back with what the, oops, come on, be nice. There's the reverse locator. It will come back with what the address is as far as what Esri thinks the address is. I qualify that because for any of you that have used a lot of the interactive maps, you can type in an address, and in urban areas, it's generally pretty good. But when you get to more remote areas, it can be problematic. So we're trying to give you the tools to help people translate back and forth between the different linear referencing or the different ways to describe a location. Okay. And then the last thing is to create a link. And in this case, what it does is it's taking the map extent and highlighting that up so that you can copy it. And my email is not running, so I can't show you, but you can copy and paste that into an email and email that to somebody else, and they can load up the same footprint as what you're seeing on the screen. The limitation is when you add custom data in, it does not carry those custom links, because if you're pulling in local files, they're not going to have the local files. So it's a limitation to only get you to the same footprint. But if you're on a specific map and you're trying to talk about, say, mile 0.5 on US 119, then you can get them to the same footprint and share that. So if I open up a new tab and I paste in what I had and then hit enter, maybe it should load. And you're right back to the same footprint. So again, we've had a lot of customers say that that's useful to them in being able to share different project information, etc. So I've run through this fairly quick, or rather really quick, but so rather than sitting here and hammer it over and over, I used to, when I was in college, I loved to play Stump the Chump. And what that was, you know, ask the questions, and if there's something you're trying to do that you're having trouble with, if we can help you with the interactive map, then that's an easy way to demonstrate its functionality. But the tools are there for you at your fingertips. If I go back, see if I can get back to let me go back to the main page. So again, you have a wide variety of choices of pre-built maps that already focus you down to specific things. So if you haven't gone to those interactive maps, give them a whirl. And remember that all the tools, oh, I haven't shown you photo log. All the tools are available to you. And they're easy to do. So if you were interested in looking at seeing what the road looked like in that location. All right. So if I click on one of these green squares, and then I say locate photo log. This is like you driving down the road. And this little tab over here, if I kick that out, and I want to know, this is in Boyle County, and this was taken in 2015. And so I can drive that road.
That's I thought it went to a different place.
So did it go to a different place?
Yeah.
Whoops. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, okay. Where I clicked on previously, it held it in memory. So, good catch. But we could go out and literally go anywhere. If I wanna come over here, well, I have to clear session. Oops, sorry about that.
But it's only for state and interstate roads, right?
Yeah, it's for state maintained roads, so it won't be for county roads or city streets. There are a few small fragments that used to be a state road that are now a county road or city street. Those would have images for back when they were in the state network. But when it's not, or rather, it's really only focused on state maintained roads. Interstates and parkways we're driving every year. We're also driving individual lanes, and so you have the flexibility to be able to choose that. For me, what's the blue versus green? Blue means that you're out so that you have like multiple tiles underneath, and green means you're down close enough to where you can pick that individual tile. If I click on a blue tile, oh, come on.
Yeah, you have to be careful not to.
Yeah. If you zoom in, all you have to do is just keep zooming in so you get to a green tile. Well, it's fussing at me, so let me restart photo log. Come on.
We'll also have a question in the chat whenever you're ready.
Okay. So let me choose a location here. All right, let me take the question and then maybe I'll get my pattern back. Go ahead.
Okay, if you have data you add to the map that isn't local data, but from the website, such as text and traffic counts, does that continue with the map when you send the link?
No, it won't. It will not sustain that. Okay, because again, the way it was written, it's very limited. Okay, so you're not going to carry over a service, which is what we're talking about. Yes.
Can you go to the map resources? I got a specific question. I can't remember the exact name of the map. All right, I want to go to the emergency funding routes, please.
Sure.
And just pick a point, 10, 12, 11, any of those districts, zoom down into that area.
So if we come down.
So when I look at this map and I see this deep blue line,
Yes.
is that only showing me then, I've looked at the legend, pull up the legend.
Sure.
So in the world of FEMA and FHWA, you still have a distinction because FHWA only will, support disaster aid down to a rural arterial, not
Okay.
to a rural blend. So I still need to see that distinction, and I almost think that I probably do better be on the functional class map than this, and we're heading into some education that we want to do on disaster aid. And I'm just wondering how to better utilize this map, which says emergency funding. So,
Right.
I'm just wondering if you can kind of point me into some nuances to better be more effective using this map.
So what I would tell you is, we built that according to our understanding of what was requested of us.
Okay.
Okay, if we need to update that and refine it, because major collector is under there.
Okay,
So we could break that apart more to what you're saying you need. Okay, because again, Will and the team didn't build all of these maps because we were bored and just wanted to do something. Our idea was to serve the customers, and at that point in time, we were told only one symbol, do it this way.
but what I want to do is make it easier for the districts to quickly pop online and say,
Yes,
this is, this is FEMA and this is FHWAUR.
exactly, exactly.
All right,
So if,
conversation.
yeah, you and I, more than happy for us to adjust that map so that it, again, that's our intent, is to get it to communicate. And this is part of the reason why we come to partnering conferences, to try to hear how do we refine to make it more effective.
Well, do
So-
you mind to summarize, what they can hear?
Sure.
Cheryl, just like
Okay.
that I think.
So to summarize, Carol was letting me know that right now we have everything just symbolized as blue, because that was what was expressed to us 4 or 5 years ago when we built this. But for her purposes now, in communicating with the districts and other people, we need to break that down to a finer level to distinguish based on level of service or functional class. And so we're going to get together, not today, but we're going to get together and we're going to refine that so that this interactive map will be updated, so that then anyone using it to try to distinguish between FHWA funding qualified and FEMA qualified, they can use the map, because that was the intent of the map, was to serve that purpose. So, yes, sir.
On a different topic, but project archives, I use that all the time, but how often does that get updated? Because this is an example, I was looking for something on the Westport Road corridor. It doesn't seem like it has the 5-lane section in there. I'm just using that as an example.
Sure. No, that,
Does that get updated or?
yes, sir. So again, that's a great question and a great point. We have people within highway design that have that responsibility to update that data. And if we find out the data is missing, then we work with them to try to get that data out in there, okay? The exact tempo, my understanding is that's a sort of a project by project thing as to when the as-built gets done. If it's an as-built, that's another challenge that the cabinet has. We do lots of projects, we don't always get the as-built we're supposed to get. So, yes, ma'am.
Add into what you're saying, I had a conversation with John Moore, probably about 2 years ago. The kicker is out in the field, a lot of our construction folks, because we have a lack of people, we're not getting the as-bills.
Right.
And so there was a conversation I had with John to say, when we award the project, we at least know then that much, so that project development has got that legacy information. And then if you get an as-built, great, that comes in later. But
Right.
in the world of, especially the urban areas, we can be out fixing the project before the last one's really finished being built.
Yes,
So,
yeah,
but I don't know that, I think that's still an open issue that needs help.
yes, there's,
That's something you can communicate. Let's just say if I was looking for something, is that something that can communicate to say,
yes,
does this exist? Is it forthcoming?
thank you so much. I'll pay you later. So this magical little bubble here that says feedback, I'm not gonna click on it because this isn't my laptop and Lord knows what will happen. This has been an interesting demo. But on a normal computer, hopefully yours, it would pop up an email and it would be addressed to our team, KYTC GIS support. And then it would also have, it would tell us what map you were using, and then you can fill in the details of what's not working the way you want it to. You can also use this, Rachel, wave your hand, stand up and wave. Rachel is our designated victim. She is our lead on help desk, and I really appreciate what she does. So but we want to help you, and sometimes we use these tools all the time and it's just natural. It's easy. Well, not everybody, it's not always natural, which you have to do it backwards on a different screen. I assure you, it's a little more complicated. But if you catch something that's not right, if you catch something that's not clear, pop us an email, because if we are missing data, we're not the ones that manage the data, we facilitate that, but we would be happy to get you connected to the person that is managing that data so that we can try to get that resolved. Because when we built the project archives, for those of you, how many people have used project archives? Okay, got a few people, a few. Yeah, back before we started that, anybody ever dumpster dive in the archive, in the film, the microfilm? Okay, yeah, got some loyal fans. So for those of you that didn't do that, you could look for one project and it might take you weeks of digging. And now it's at your fingertips. Not all of them, sometimes they're missing, but we've got, I'm trying to say 100 or 300,000 projects in there. Going back, the earliest one I've seen is about 1918. Theoretically, we have stuff going back to 1909, but I haven't seen anything earlier than 1918. Yes, sir.
So I'm a land surveyor and I use the control function on there a lot to find existing control that's there. That is really hit or miss. If you're going to find one, a lot of times I have to reach out to Perry.
Yes.
See if he can find it for me. Is there any plans to update any of that old control and get it in there? And is there a schedule to put new control in there?
So Perry has asked us for a similar project archives. Are we running out of time? Okay. Yes, there is interest and desire. It's a matter of capacity, because while we can build a front-facing tool, some poor soul has to go get the
Data sheets.
DVDs and everything else and load all that stuff in. So the idea is there, but the timing on it, I can't promise anything immediately. Okay. Yes, sir.
Just a suggestion, like for projects, as they go to letting, it's a requirement for us to provide a full PDF of each product. So when the product goes into letting, it'd be great if that was just automatically uploaded to the project archives. And then, like you say, if you get the red lines, you get updates, but otherwise you at least have that data.
Yeah, we've discussed the as designed versus as built. We just haven't embedded all of that. And so that may be something that we do. So thank you for that suggestion. Okay. Anything else? All right. Well, thank you for this very interesting ride.